the very top, you'll see start new session. So we'll click that. And we first pick our background image or our template. We're going to go ahead and hit load photo, this top option. It has your albums down here, if you have them saved, and there's some other, but we're just going to go to camera roll right here. And I'll find this same template we used last time, and then we just hit top image and do the same thing, load photo, camera roll, and find my ugly mug and hit done. So now we just have our two layers. The controls are very easy. At the bottom, you'll see 4 controls. First one here, change view. You see it's highlighted in blue. And all this does is let you zoom in or out, and it keeps both of the layers aligned and in sync. So you're adjusting both of these at the same time. Your next one, move top, lets you zoom in and out or increase, decrease the size of just the top layer. Okay, so we'll do that for now. Erase. That erases the top layer. And unerase. Unerases it. Your options at the top are pretty easy. Your very left option, 3 dots, 3 lines, takes you back to your main screen. Go ahead and hit cancel. Question mark just shows you a few tutorials. The 2 rectangles overlapping are just basically quick settings for how these 2 layers interact. So normal is top layer on top, bottom layer on bottom. That's it. Transparent makes that top layer a little bit, makes it transparent, so it drops the opacity, which we'll talk about in a second. And then this bottom one, red mask, this shows just the top layer, no matter where it's positioned or anything like that. And again, on here, you can, of course, do your erase and your unerase and your zoom in. So we're going to go back to normal. I'm going to skip to the far right circle. That's your undo button. Next one over is your brush. So when you're doing erase or unerase, these are your brush settings, and they're really easy. This just chooses the size of the circle. You have to click this. And you have 4 different brush options. The one on the very left here is 100% opacity, so completely filled and a hard edge. Your next one over is 100% opacity, but kind of a soft edge. Your third one over is your somewhat lowered opacity and a hard edge. And then your very far right one is the one I use the most, which is lower opacity and a soft edge. So I'll click that far right one now, like that. And then your middle button here is your levels or adjustments, which is the 3 lines and the circles. So I'll click that. And this is pretty simple. You've got at the top here, it says top image. And then over here is background. So it just allows you to adjust the top layer, the back layer. The top layer has 2 extra options. It has opacity, which you can do this. Of course, you wouldn't do that on the back layer. And then blend mode. It says normal. I won't go through that in this video, but we'll just keep that as normal. And then your typical settings. So down here, brightness. Again, we're adjusting that top layer. Contrast. Shadow recovery, so keeps your darks. And then your saturation, color, temperature, tint, hue shift, okay? And again, by selecting background, you have those same adjustments, but for the background. Pretty straightforward. Background, top image. But anyway, I'll go ahead and click the settings, that button again to close it out. And now it's time to replace the face. So you can do it a couple different ways. I'm going to zoom in. Now, anytime, if you have your unerase or erase button, you can always zoom in just by pinching, and that brings in both your layers together. So just like if you were to hit change view, but kind of like I did on the last one, I might start by going to my levels here and adjusting my top level. Now this has, as you can see, we had made some adjustments already. To bring this back to where it was initially, you'll hit this above brightness, you'll hit this 3 bars with the 3 circles, and that brings everything back to how it was. So I think last time what we did was we increased the brightness a little bit and dropped the saturation, and I think that got us really close. So I made my adjustment. I'm going to close this adjustments layer. Now I'm going to match up the head and face. Again, if you want to, at the top, the 2 overlapping rectangles, you can switch that to transparent and change your view and move your top layer over it and get it as close as you can. Again, I don't make it exact because I'll do that in just a minute. So that looks pretty close. All right. So I'll change this back here to normal. Change my view to zoom in. And now I will just start erasing. So again, this is the soft brush, so it's, it's not 100% transparent. If I'm going to erase it, I may come up here to my brush menu again, click a solid one, and just do it like that, because no need to have a soft edge or anything. So, all right, here we are. So now I'm going to add my face back in just like I did in my last video. I'm going to switch my brush to the soft brush. I'm going to hit unerase. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm just going to start to unerase roughly where the eyes and nose and mouth is. And again, at any point in time, I can come down here, move that top layer. You can do that. Maybe adjust this right here. We'll see. And I'm going to go ahead and click on erase and continue what I'm doing. And, I may just try to add in only what I think I need. So I'm just, of course, adding in my beard. All right. Kind of looking at the size of that there. So I can already see that the face is too big, the jaw is too big. So I'm going to go ahead and click Move Top again and just kind of adjust the size of that top layer. So I'll go for that. Then I'll go back here. And I'll finish my face on erase. I'll just kind of put it together here. Now remember, if you want to make sure that you've got everything where you have the right areas erased or unerased, you can come up to this top, one of these top buttons, the 2 rectangles, and hit red mask. And this will show you what's being visible and what's not. So the red is not visible, okay? But there's some spots I probably would want. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm on my unerase, and I'm going to highlight that area there because I probably just missed that. Okay. And I can even make these adjustments here if I want to zoom in and do erase. I can see it pretty clearly now that I don't want that needs to be a little better defined, and I can, do some of my work here if that's easier. So not bad, but I'll go back up to this top button here, hit normal again. And there we are. Actually looks pretty close. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I mean, I could try to adjust the color up top a little bit. And again, that's easy to do. Just hit my levels button up top. I'm on top image, so that's how I'm adjusting. And I can, change color temp, maybe do that and drop opacity down. I remember last time this wasn't perfect either, so let's undo this. I'll zoom in, and again, it actually looks pretty good. I can touch up anywhere I want to by adding or taking away, but I could bring my real forehead up higher, but yeah, I don't want to go that far because it's a little small, so I'll hit erase again and bring back the other layer. And of course, with this soft brush, you can, if you want to, kind of gently go over some spots. Sometimes it helps keep whatever pattern you have on the template. Sometimes it kind of helps keep that consistent. No, it doesn't always work depending on where it is, but sometimes I'll do that, maybe make a few adjustments. I see like sometimes it doesn't work because there's that line there, which doesn't make sense, so I'm going to hit unerase and go back and put that where it was. So anyway, I'll zoom back and yeah. Oops. All right. Not bad. So now I'll hit this very top left button and hit